Ebony and welcome to EMMFASHION. So I took a poll on Instagram between either dropping an Ivy Park haul this week or my favorite self-care items, and you guys chose my favorite self-care items. So I'm here to give you the goods, I'm here to give you the deets on my favorite self-care items that I feel have really changed my life. Alright, you know what I like to do, get right into it, but before we do, you've been here and you know me. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell button to know when my videos drop. So what inspired me to make this video in particular is that for the past few months, I've been able to try out a lot of things for free, not so much for free. Things that have been in my house for a while that I decided, let me see what it does. And I found a couple of things that have really changed my entire life. So the first item that has definitely changed my life was switching from regular deodorant to natural deodorant. Now, all natural deodorants are not made equal. That's why I'm here to talk to you about my favorite natural deodorant that works, which is the Lume deodorant. So this has an accent over the E, so I'm not sure if it's Lume, Lume, whatever. I'm gonna say Lume for now, but this deodorant in particular really puts in work. Now, if you're wondering why I made the switch, it has been a year since I've been trying to kind of transition into natural deodorants. As I said before, all natural deodorants are not made equal. And so I've tried some that definitely clocked in and clocked right back out. I have been trying natural deodorant for a year now, and I went from just primarily using regular deodorant to using a regular and a natural mix. But when I finally found Lume deodorant, I could really just use this by itself. Now, why should you consider switching? Well, in regular deodorant, there are a lot of chemicals that are in the deodorant that we put in our body every day, and they actually have a lot of dangerous effects on our body. And so I decided not just on that, but also when I had like not a recent breakout, but when I had a breakout last year and I was trying to use regular deodorant, it burned me. So that made me motivated to kind of start making that switch to find something that I liked. And this was the winner. So Lume advertises 72 hours of odor control. I'm here to tell you 72 is not it, but it will give you more than 24. I have tried this deodorant and I have put it to use working, going outside, working out in it, sweating, and it's still putting in work. I've even worn it past 24 hours because, you know, sometimes we take a shower in the morning and then we're not able to get that next shower in until the next day, but like later in the day. So technically it's more than 24 hours and it stayed intact. Now, the deodorant claims to be aluminum free, baking soda free, and it's naturally scented, which I can co-sign on. It's not really that expensive. It's long wearing, like I said. Now, don't get confused with antiperspirant. This is not an antiperspirant item. This is a deodorant item, meaning that I am still gonna give the full sweat. It's not gonna stop me from sweating, but it is going to stop me from mussing it up. And I don't mind that because I am not someone who like really sweats profusely. I'm really only sweating when I'm like hot or really active or things like that. So it doesn't bother me that I'm still sweating. The scent or the funk is what bothers me. So it is super easy to put on. It looks just like this. You turn this knob and it's kind of like not a thin liquid, but like a thicker liquid that comes out that you put on, and it actually comes on pretty clear. It starts off white and then it clears off, so it's not gonna get on your clothes and leave like a white cast or anything. It is vegan and cruelty free, and you don't just have to use it under your arms. Anywhere in your body that you feel creates smell, if it's sweaty or whatever, you can use it. Like me personally, we don't have AC in the bedroom, so when we're sleeping in these warm summer nights, we're waking up in sweat. This means places like my neck, which is not very long already, gets sweaty and it's gonna be a little musty. So I put some of this bad boy on before I go to bed after my shower, wake up the next morning and it's still intact. Now my husband is one who does sweat more than I do. He hasn't complained about the sweating, so if you're someone who is not fond of sweating a lot, but you want something that's natural, I guess you can try this. I don't think it's gonna prevent you, but again, my husband sweats a lot and he hasn't complained, and he uses this exclusively as well. I think the price is really worth having a cleaner, healthier option on your body that still does what it's supposed to do, which is keep you from stinking. Next self-care item that has changed my life is exfoliating gloves. Now, I got these both for my husband and I from NOLA Skin Essentials for like $4. It's not like this, I guess, revolutionary thing, but for me, I was typically a loofah user, and I found out that loofahs, even though I was trying to take care of them, they still were like getting bacteria and stuff, and it was harder for me to reach every part of my body with them. So when I made the switch to the exfoliating gloves, I got every part of my body. They're easy to lather up with, and they're easy to clean. I throw them in the wash with the towels and stuff and air dry them, and they're good to go. And just like the name, they double as exfoliators. So if you're someone who doesn't buy a ton of exfoliating products, this is kind of a 2-in-1. Next item that has been changing my life is the Razor Bump Spray from NOLA Skin Essentials. Now, this is not my first time using like a razor bump or ingrown hair item. If you've been here, you know that I primarily used the ingrown hair oil from Ancient Cosmetics. But sometimes I get lazy, and when I saw this spray, I saw an opportunity to get what I want done with even less effort. So this is what it looks like up close. Comes with 4 ounces. It wasn't too expensive. Cute little spray, very easy to apply. And I've used this every single time I've shaved, and it does its job. If you're someone with melanated skin, especially reactionary skin like mine, you want to have products on deck to make sure that you're not breaking out or getting these ingrown hairs or whatever, because it can be really damaging to the skin. It's really painful to go through the whole, like, it growing, then it draining process. It's a whole thing. So this spray has been doing its job along with something else. Speaking of razor bumps, let's talk about the safety razor. Now, I got the safety razor for my husband some years ago before I decided to boycott Amazon, even though it's impossible. So I got it, and he was the one using it all this time. I believe I got this in 2018, around Christmas time. And so we've had it since that long. And the great thing about safety razors is, 1, they're reusable. 2, all you have to do is change and clean out the blades, and they last for months at a time. 3, you get a better and cleaner shave than you would with disposable razors. And 4, honestly, once you buy it, you don't have to buy another one. Now, usually when you buy things or invest in things because you don't want to buy another one because they're long lasting, they're usually $1 million. Safety razors are not that. Safety razors are arguably less expensive than some disposable razors, clippers, as well as disposable razor refills. Now, because this gets a cleaner, closer shave than the regular disposable razor, You do have to be careful not to put too much force when you start using it, but once you get used to it, it's kind of bomb. Literally, my husband and I share this razor, and all we do is have separate blades. It's cute because the bottom, all you have to do is twist this open, you put a blade in, and then you close it back up, and then you shave. After shaving, you'll twist it back open, you'll take the blade out, you'll clean this, which I like to use alcohol and warm water to clean it. Then you'll put it up so it can dry. And then for the blade, you do the same thing. Alcohol, warm water, clean it off, and put it up. Well, though I dry it before putting it up. And it's set for the next use. Literally using both the razor and the razor bump spray has left me with no breakouts, no ingrown hairs, so on and so forth. And my husband has not seen a razor bump in years. The next self-care item that legitimately is changing my life are period panties. Now, for people who experience menstrual cycles, we know that it is literally some of the worst times of our lives. Depending on how your cycle is set up, it can be anywhere from mild, 3 to 5 day, light, whatever, not a big deal, to really heavy or really painful, headaches, crazy hormones, things like that. And you have to function through that. Now, I have been on birth control, specifically the Nexplanon. So for a couple of years, I haven't had to deal with a cycle up until recently. But I was primarily a pad user until this year. I started dabbling in the tampons. I've dabbled in a couple of things this year because I was just tired. All of a sudden, I was getting my periods again, and it was a hassle. So, like I said, was primarily a pad user. We know the issue with pads are that it feels like you're sitting in your blood. They also move around, so when you sleep, even if you use like the overnight ones, if they end up moving around or your blood ends up doing whatever it wants to do, you can still stay in your underwear. It can still go outside of the pad. So it's like, then I moved to tampons, and those are okay, but it's just like, I do feel that something is inserted inside me the entire day. Even if it's not as invasive as a cup, which I'll get to. You still feel it, and you do have to change it more regularly, in my opinion, to a pad, because since it's inserted inside of you, you don't want to leave it in for too long or you can get toxic shock. The next thing I tried was a cup, and when I tell you that's not for me, by the time I was actually able to get a method to insert the cup, it felt like the cup was ripping me in half. And I got a regular size, so yeah, it was enough for me. But finally, I found exactly what I was looking for. Something that I don't have to change every 5 minutes, something that I don't have to worry about bleeding through, and something that's not so invasive as like a tampon or a cup. And that is period panties. Now, all period panties are not made equal, as I will show you today. I used 2 different brands, and I'll tell you about each brand just a little bit in my experience with them. First brand I used was Joyja. I just randomly came across this brand, and they showed a lot of cute designs and actually had plus sizes, so I decided to try them out. Now, I've had a cycle since I bought these, and I bought 4 of these. So these are some that I haven't opened. They have a couple of different designs. I decided to get the shorts. These are the shorts. Mainly because I just didn't want to deal with any leakage. And it was my first time. So I like to get something that felt a little more secure. These are actually pretty soft and on the thinner side. They feel like regular underwear. And then on the inside, they have like the mesh and like, I guess the pad-ish thing in the middle. And so that is what is absorbing the menstrual juices. This brand has like a ton of different designs and colors, which is what attracted me to them. And the fact that they were kind of like just regular underwear. So I was kind of worried because people were talking about like period panties can be really hot and blah blah blah. But yeah, so these are the ones I got. I got them in a 4X. I probably should have got them in a 3, but that's okay. Like, my experience with Georgia is that, as I said before, they just feel like putting on regular underwear. My particular flow, because I'm still on birth control, isn't heavy, it's medium. So like before I got on birth control, my cycle was extremely heavy and long lasting, like 8 days minimum. This time around, it's still about 8 days minimum, but it's more of a medium flow than it is like super heavy like it used to be. So the shorts are like for super flow or something like that, which means that I didn't have to change them as much. I was able to wear a pair pretty much for the whole day and switch them out when it was time for a shower. Now, I did mess up one time and took a shower during the day and then didn't change them until the next day. And so I did have spillage happen. And that was like on my heavier day, top tier bleeding day. So just be mindful, like, so just to be clear, I think someone with a medium flow could wear one pair for about 15 hours without any spillage, which I think is more than enough for someone like working or anything like that. But definitely don't try to push it and wait till the next day to change them, because it will leak. It will also stain, so just be careful. Another brand that I tried was the Madi Body brand. Now, in their sizing, because this is an Australian business, this is a 6X, and it fits perfectly on me. It's not too big or too small, so just keep that in mind. But I went ahead and dropped the money to get the 24-hour pads, because I just wanted to see if they were truly 24 hours. Now, I was calling these the maximum security panties because the padding on the inside is serious. Like, throughout the whole panty, you have full-blown padding. And like the Georgia, I didn't really feel my bleeding or anything. Like, I didn't feel it in the Georgia, but this was keeping me dry. It almost felt like I didn't have a cycle. Really, if I wasn't like cramping or anything, the only thing I was feeling during my cycle was fatigue. And to me, it didn't feel any hotter than wearing regular underwear. So I don't know if that's just my tolerance versus the next person, but I didn't feel super hot. And also because it's black, I didn't really see any leakage or anything. Now with the Madi Body, there's not as much variety in the styles, but the panties themselves do put in a lot of work. So I would say Madi Body's panties function better than Georgia, but Georgia has better designs, more fun designs. And for anyone that I feel is like maybe not just medium, I would say heavy and under, could really rock a lot of the stuff at Georgia and not have an issue. But anyone that's like super, I would suggest Madi Body for sure. Like, it's not as, you know, cool that they don't have the extra cute designs. But if you're looking for something that's gonna work, where you're not having to deal with changing pads, changing tampons, blah, 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 emptying out cups, then I think the Madi Body panties are for you. Now, when I say that the panties really took a lot of the stress off of really living through my menstrual cycle, I really mean that. Like, I really didn't have to worry about bleeding, changing out in the middle of the day, finding a public restroom to do this, blah, 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 being careful with this. I could just live my regular life like I've been doing pre-menstrual cycle. And they're super easy to clean. All you have to do is rinse them out. I personally like to soak them in cold water and wring them out, then put them in the washer. But they just tell you to rinse out the pad part with cold water and then put them in the washer to clean them. I know people may look at it and say, this is kind of expensive per panty. But when I did the math based off of all the stuff that I was buying, pads, tampons, panty liners, I came out spending a lot more than I would just having a few panties at my disposal that I can rock for the next 2 years as long as I'm taking care of them. Last self-care thing that has changed my life, it's not technically an item, but it is a change. And that change was getting into therapy. I didn't know how magical therapy was until I got into it. I don't want to say magical because I don't want to like super hype it up or like, you know, romanticize it. But I absolutely love therapy. I have this great Black woman therapist. And it's just been so helpful for me. I knew that I needed it, but when you're like living as someone who is lower income, you try to find ways to deal with the things you need to deal with no money or very little money. Before the pandemic, I was working several jobs and juggling between my husband's jobs and one car. So not only did I not have enough funds, but I didn't even have time. During the pandemic, I have been able to make my money, make ends meet, and also have a lot of time to work with a licensed professional to really work on some of the things or some of the habits that I've been kind of stuck in for a long time that are like negative for me, and been able to see the results of that. Because of the tools that I've been learning in therapy and just being able to vent out some things, say things out loud and get perspective, I have been like having more energy. I've been able to sleep more regularly. I haven't even like used the melatonin gummies like I've been using. I found healthier ways to deal with me and my emotions, healthier ways to interact in my daily life, how I interact with my work, and how to interact with others, and really live with some self-worth and self-care. It is easy for me to verbalize out loud that I'm taking care of myself, I love myself, blah, blah, blah. But getting into therapy really challenges what I mean by that. It challenges me to actually do that actively. And I've seen a lot of benefits, including my skin. Let's get into it. Now, I'm going to have a little bit of a breakout because I have not been to therapy in 2 weeks. Well, I went last week, but I had like a 2-week break because I got sick one of the weeks and so on and so forth. So I had a really stressful event happen last week, and I feel a little some, but I'm not going to stress about it. But yeah, I didn't realize that mental health really affects your skin as much as it did. I knew that I would have hormonal breakouts, but I didn't realize that primarily, probably 95% of the breakouts I have were hormonal due to stress. So therapy has been helping me navigate through stress and anxiety healthily, which I have seen in my face. I've seen in my sleeping patterns, and the 2 weeks I was out of therapy, it's a big difference, both skin and energy. So this last Friday when I had my session, it was a good pick-me-up, and I'm ready to get back on track. I say all of that to say that self-care items are really great. It's really important to take care of yourself on a surface level, but on a deeper level, like working with a therapist and stuff like that, that is equally, if not more important, because you do see a lot of the effects happening to your body. I know that not a lot of people have access to therapy, or many people do feel that it's stigmatized, so they don't want to be associated with therapy. But I'm here to tell you that my husband and I are still considered low income. We have Medicaid. Now, this particular place that I get therapy from, they don't take Medicaid, but they do have a sliding scale. So I was able to name the price based off of the range that they had to get therapy and how regularly I want to get it. And that has been a lifesaver. So if you are someone who doesn't know where to start, you can definitely look at a lot of the apps or different companies like Talkspace and stuff like that. But do a lot of research in the area. See who may service you on a sliding scale or who do take Medicaid, whatever. And try to get into it, because I think that therapy is beneficial for most people. All right, guys, I'm off my soapbox. I hope you enjoyed everything I showed you today. These are items that I truly believe have made my life easier and better. I'm living a better quality of life. And I hope that you found some stuff that you may want to try yourself that makes your life easier. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video to people you think might be interested. Follow me on my social media so we can be friends. And I'll see you next time. Bye.